Hi, hello, and welcome back to my channel, and welcome if you're new here. My name is Cody the Writer, and today we are talking about Plot-Tober. Yes, that's right, it is Plot-Tober, as I am deeming to call it. Honestly, it's hard for me to believe that it's already October. I feel like 2024 just started, but hey, here we are. Now, if you've been on the AuthorTube space, the writing internet space for, longer than 10 minutes, you would know that there is this really big writing challenge coming up in the fourth quarter of the year. Now, we don't know her anymore. I'm not gonna get into all of the drama with NaNoWriMo, but there are plenty of other channels that have covered all the drama, all of the things that have been going on. So we are doing our own thing in this quarter of the year, and I invite you all to join me. Now, I don't have any fancy names. There are plenty of people out there on the internet that have already kind of, announced that they're doing a certain challenge and they've given it its own name. I don't care if you call it the Rough Draft Relay or the Zero Draft Zoomies, whatever you want to call it. I hope you have a good time, okay? But with all that out of the way, I want to tell you what my plans are for October and November of 2024. I'm going to be starting off my October by plotting what I am calling Project Terms and Conditions. Now, I'm very excited for this story. This one's going to be pretty different from the story that I'm trying to finish right now. The one that I'm writing right now is very much murder mystery. There's no other forces at work. It's all people. That's the end. This next one, Project Terms and Conditions, is going to have all of those same things, but we're going to add the paranormal aspect to it, and I'm very excited about that. So whenever it comes to me outlining, obviously, the things that I'm going to want to nail down in October before we make it to November, I want to nail down my characters, I want to nail down my settings, I want to nail down some scenes, themes, tropes, and also I want to plot out all of the clues that they're going to find and all the incidents when the clues appear in the house. And as like a little bonus thing, I kind of want to make one of those, I want to make like a map of the house. If you've ever tried to rent an apartment, like whenever they have those like pieces of paper that's flat and it kind of shows you the layout of the apartment or the house or whatever, that's what I kind of want to create for this story, just so I can play with all of the different rooms and settings within the house, because this one's going to also be somewhat of a close proximity thriller where a majority of this story is going to take place in one house. And so I'm very excited to do all of those things to prepare to write this story in November. Obviously, as I'm figuring out all of these little details and things, I do want to take all of that and create a rough outline for myself for the full story. That way I know all the incidents, I know, I can track the pacing, and I'm going to be using Save the Cat Writes a Novel for this process. And I'm very excited about that because before I actually started the book that I'm currently working on, I did not use Save the Cat. I had heard of her, I knew about her, but we weren't acquainted yet. So as far as the process that I'm in now, I actually did not apply Save the Cat until after my first draft was written. And that just led to a lot more work after the first draft was written. And so we're gonna save us all of that time and headache and use it before we write the first draft of Project Terms and Conditions. On top of doing this outlining, I'm actually going to be doing some critique partnering things, some beta reader things. I'm actually going to be sending off the draft of the book that I'm currently working on to some friends to, kind of pick it apart, leave notes on things that are kind of unclear, and really help me get this book to as close to a final polished form before I start bringing in a professional editor. So they are going to start reading that in October, and I'm going to be taking a couple pages of things from them to read and leave some notes on. So that'll be very fun. I've never been a part of a critique partnering experience before, but I'm very excited to read some of the words that my friends I've made on YouTube have written. One little fun thing that I will be doing with this book that I did not do with my last book is I'm actually going to be using a writer's journal, and not just any writer's journal. I got this handy dandy journal here in the mail from the Dahlia paper company. I'm actually going to be linking them down below and tagging their Instagram, all that fun stuff. They sent me the cutest little box full of stickers and washi tape and the piece de resistance, the Plancer notebook. Now this has all kinds of things in it from project name and all that good stuff. And then every single page has something on it. I mean, you can look at the table of contents here to see if any of that would interest you, but all of it interests me. So I'm very thankful to the Dahlia Paper Company for sending me this notebook, and I'm so excited to use it for project terms and conditions. Obviously, since I will be outlining this book in October, my plan is to try and do a fast draft of this in November. Now, I will be trying to do a full draft in November. I don't know how many words it's going to be. I mean, my first draft of this novel that I'm currently working on, and I keep pointing back here like it's up on the screen, it's not. The novel that I'm currently working on, I ended that first draft right around the 51,000 word mark, and if the same holds true for the first draft of this next story, I'm assuming I'll be around that same place, but my goal is to try to make it from beginning to end in the month of November, and I feel like I'm better equipped to do it this go round because I know more about how much I need to outline before I start, and I also have a better sense of the fact that this first draft is going to be garbage no matter how much time and care I put into it. So I might as well just like fly through the whole thing and then clean it up later. You know what I'm saying? So it's just a fun little experiment. I've never actually completed a full writing challenge in November. And so I'm excited to see if I can do it this go around now that I have at least one manuscript under my belt. And of course, you know, I'll be vlogging that whole experience, so you won't miss a thing and you'll get to see it all right here on the Cody the Writer YouTube channel. Again, another reason for you to click subscribe. Okay, now this is the point in the video where I am talking to all of you first-time plotters out there who maybe this is going to be your first time attempting some sort of writing challenge or your first time attempting to write a full manuscript from start to finish. These tips are going to be for you. Now, these are some of the things that I kind of wish I had known before I started outlining and writing my very first manuscript ever. Here's the thing. I actually did hear some of these things before I started. This is one of those situations to where you don't really get it or it doesn't really sink in until you've experienced it yourself. Some of these tips that I'm going to be sharing with you might be something that I have heard in another video or from another writer friend, but these are things that really sunk in for me as I went through the process of outlining and writing my first manuscript. And I'm going to share them with you right now. Tip number one is that you do not have to know everything about your story. You don't have to know your main character's favorite food. You don't have to know if the couch in his living room is green or brown. I don't know why you'd pick either of those colors, but you know what? I'm not gonna yuck your yum. All this to say, you don't have to know every single small little detail about your characters and your setting and a certain scene. You don't have to know all of that. You just need to know the action of each scene. What are you trying to accomplish with this scene and how does it move the plot forward? Those are really the bare bones that you need to know before you actually sit down and start writing the manuscript. For me, before I started writing my very first one, I quite literally had a Google Doc that was just random scenes in my head that I felt was a natural progression to create a story. Even if you're not a full planner or a plotter, whatever you want to call it, it still benefits you to kind of have a bird's eye view of your story to know how it will progress, how all of this stuff in the beginning and the middle leads up to that finale at the end. That's really all you need to know. Okay? I found for myself that a lot of the small, minute details really came to me as I was writing each scene. I immersed myself into that setting or whatever. I didn't really pinpoint down a lot of those small details until I was actually writing that scene. Tip number two is don't put too much pressure on yourself. This can be applied to a few things. Now, you're gonna be seeing all over your YouTube timeline, if you haven't already, people announcing these lofty writing challenges that they're doing. I think I've seen one where it's like write 100,000 words in 3 months. I've seen people sticking to the 50,000 words in 1 month. Now, all of these numbers, I need you to hear me when I say this. All of these numbers are crazy numbers, and they're meant to be outlandish, crazy numbers. It is a time where all these writers come together and literally push themselves to their limits just to see if they can write a full book in a month. As a consumer on YouTube, it's very easy to see them making amazing progress and making very rapid progress, and you feel like you just absolutely can't do that for yourself, and that's okay. Set goals that are attainable for you, whether that be 10,000 words in a month, or 5,000, or 20,000. You don't have to stick to these numbers that they're setting for themselves. It's all about creating this time of writing that works best for you, for your schedule, for your mental health. You do not have to do the exact same thing that everyone's doing. You can support them and you can applaud them on their progress, but don't let their progress hinder your progress that you can make in the month of October and November. Okay? My second little part to this same tip would be don't put too much pressure on yourself for these words that you're writing really quickly to be of high quality. It's not going to happen, and that's okay. First drafts are meant to quite literally be for you, the writer, to get the story out of your brain and onto the page. From there, you can edit and revise. And like Mick said in one of her recent videos, you're remodeling plot inconsistencies. You'll be looking for character inconsistencies. You'll be looking for all these small things, and that is a problem for editing you and not first draft you. My third tip is to know that the final outline of your story could look very different from the outline that you write in October, and that's okay. My outline changed so much in the time that I wrote that initial outline into where I currently am. I have added scenes, I have taken away scenes, I have added plot twists, I have added settings. Some things that I just did not know until I had put myself in the story and actually written it. All of those things affected how my final outline actually came to be, and just know that your outline does not have to be perfect right now. I know a lot of us kind of get into this, what I call like decision paralysis, where you're like, okay, is this everything that I need, or should I, maybe read through it again and rework it once more before I actually start writing the book? Just write the book. Everything that you need to know will come to you in the process of actually drafting, and it also takes some of that pressure off of you, knowing that these words that you're writing for these challenges doesn't have to be exactly how it's going to be whenever you actually want to maybe share this work with others or publish it or whatever. My fourth tip is going to be to embrace all ideas, good and bad. Now, my favorite part of the writing process is the brainstorming phase. Now, you've probably heard this around the YouTubes, if you follow a lot of author tubers. They refer to brainstorming sometimes as like a brain dump. Now, literally what you're going to do for the brainstorming is you are going to dump every single idea that you have for this story, good and bad, into some kind of something, whether that be a journal, a Google Doc, whatever, and you are going to put all your ideas there, good and bad. Now, will all of those ideas make it into the final outline? Absolutely not. But you never know when one of those bad ideas that didn't work for this story could lead you down a rabbit hole that might inspire a whole new story or maybe a new scene in the current book that you're writing down the line. And I think that's pretty cool. Even if you think something is a bad idea, go ahead and still write it down, put it in that brain dump file, because no one's going to see this file except for you. The only person that's going to judge you is yourself, and that's not my business. My fifth tip is to get organized. Now, there are so many organizers out there for writers. There is Google Docs, there is Scrivener, there is Milanote, there is Notion. There are so many resources out there to help you organize all of your thoughts into a cohesive plot and story. And so whatever avenue you choose, make sure to use it to its fullest potential to get organized in a way that makes sense for you and is also something that is, aesthetically pleasing for you. If you're not big on the computer, then get you a journal. If you don't really like to write freehand, find one of those digital platforms that you can use and organize all of these thoughts, because when you're doing that brain dump, all of these thoughts are going to come to you jumbled up, out of order. And so use whatever platform works best for you to organize and maybe reorder some of those ideas. And the last tip number 6, is to have fun. The whole point of this challenge that we give to ourselves is to, yes, not only use it as a tool to be productive in a rapid manner, but it's also meant to be fun. If it's not fun, why are you even doing it? A lot of the writers that I have met on here, yes, they have dreams of publishing and doing all of these things, but the thing that they fell in love with in the first place was just how fun it was for them to write the stories that were living in their head rent-free. I got to a point with this story that I'm currently writing where it almost stopped being fun, and I had to step back and remind myself why I started this process in the first place. And so if you go into this process with that thought in the forefront of your mind that, hey, no matter what happens over these next couple months, as long as I had fun, then it's a success. If I didn't hit my word count goal or I didn't finish the draft that I wanted to finish, as long as I had fun, that's a win in my book. okay? And that's all I have for you guys today. If you liked the video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up down below. If you want to see more content from me, go ahead and click that subscribe button down below. No matter what your goal is, as long as it is attainable to you and you have fun, that's all that matters. I'm so excited to hear from you guys down below and rooting you on during all these challenges that are going to be coming up in Q4 of 2024. And I can't wait to see where we are with this new story by the end of November. I'm really excited. I already have some ideas kind of put into a Google Doc that I'm really excited to start going through and elaborating on. And it's just going to be so much fun. And I can't wait to share the process with you all here on the YouTubes. But with all of that out of the way, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!